Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter, and I have been your beat reporter covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for On SI every single day since August 2019, and we are continuing to move forward to another offseason together. As always, you can find our daily 24/7, 100% free boots on the ground coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars on social media such as Facebook and Twitter when you follow us at Jaguars on SI. You can also find us at www.si.com/NFL/Jaguars. Welcome, folks, to the final episode of reviewing the Jaguars offseason program. The Jaguars held, I believe, let me do my quick math, 15 offseason practices, 2 rookie minicamps, 10 OTAs, and then 3 veteran mandatory minicamp practices. We were out there for, I believe, 7 of those practices. So, got a pretty good look at where the Jaguars are right now, where they need to be moving forward, etc. And as a whole, I'd say you can very easily tell the shift in things for the Jaguars on and off the field. Things felt very different. Things looked very different. It certainly, in my opinion, is a very new offense. So, not new offense, new team completely. So, just based off Thursday and what I saw at the final day of minicamp, a few things to touch on. One, Brian Thomas Jr., 100% healthy. He was out there first in line for every drill, every rep, just as he, has been all offseason. He, went through the team drills, 7-on-7 drills. He had passes thrown to him. He had a really nice gain on a screen from Trevor Lawrence where it just seemed like the blocking, was there and there was no defender near him, and he just exploded downfield. Also had a nice downfield catch. Had a really good offseason program in general. He's clearly a freak of nature and a number one wide receiver. But, of course, everybody was kind of waiting and seeing after that injury scare on Wednesday, where things would look. Liam Cohen said it was a shoulder bruise, I believe. So the fact that he came back out onto the practice field on Wednesday, even though he didn't go back onto the actual field for any practice reps after, his injury scare. The fact he came back onto the field at all was a good sign. Normally, if he was, badly dinged up, he wouldn't even do that. And then the fact that he went through Thursday's practice, and this was very easily like a practice he could have skipped. It was the shortest practice, I believe, of the offseason. Liam Cohen said he wanted to make that an emphasis. And it was also a emphasis on getting the younger guys reps. So a lot of second team, a lot of third team. Not necessarily a practice that your number one guy has to be up for, but I think that's just who Brian Thomas is. I think if he can practice, he's going to practice. I mean, he practiced all year last year, when he was having the chest and shoulder injuries. So, really tough guy, really obviously, spectacular athlete, playmaker, wide receiver. The things you hear about him that come out of the building, it's always been positive. Last year, it was immensely positive. They truly feel like he is on the cusp of becoming one of the NFL's best receivers. That is really the unanimous thought on Brian Thomas Jr. inside that facility. Now, there's excitement over the fact that he's only entering his second year. He can get a lot better. There's still a lot of things that he hasn't seen, a lot of things he hasn't done. But he's healthy. That's the important thing. Brian Thomas Jr. had another really good offseason. I think, obviously, besides that, the biggest story to come out of Jaguars practice on Thursday, it was the first time we saw Travis Hunter go both ways in the same day, offense and defense, cornerback and wide receiver. He was that wide receiver, I'd say, for all but 10 to 12 minutes of the practice. So it was still almost exclusively wide receiver. It wasn't until the last period. I remember I was on the sideline watching, the offense and defense during the last period. Then I see number 12 come onto the field to cover one of the rookie receivers. And I'm like, that's Travis, isn't it? Because I certainly just saw him at receiver about 10 minutes ago. So it was the first time that he did both in one practice. First time I've ever seen a player do both in one practice. And I know people are going to reference guys who were fullbacks and tight ends. I mean, fullbacks and linebackers. You see what Bo Melton was trying to do in Green Bay. There's been a few guys who have had to play receiver and corner out of necessity. But regardless of all that, there hasn't been a Travis Hunter, a guy who is changing practice jerseys in the middle of practice so he can jump over to the other side of the ball. I mean, 1 minute the Jaguars quarterbacks are throwing to him, and the next minute he's trying to pick them off. It is a very surreal thing to witness. I'm glad, frankly, that I am in a position that I am to be able to witness such an endeavor. I really do think, however things go, wherever it goes, one way or another, we're watching football history. And watching him practice both sides of the ball in one practice was certainly a feat that I'm not going to forget anytime soon. Some other things I noticed from the final minicamp practice, I thought both rookie running backs had a really good day. Tuden made some nice catches, showed off his speed after the catch and how quickly he can transition from a pass catcher to running with the ball. But I thought Tuden's most impressive play came on the ground. And it's hard for the running game when pads aren't on. It's very hard. It's hard to generate movement. As Liam Cohen said, they're basically just doing inside zone right now because they can't do any of their gap stuff or they're pulling guards because you don't want to have contact. But there was one zone run play where Tuden just saw the cutback, put his foot in the dirt, and just completely exploded. And the type of explosion and speed he showed to get to the second level and beyond is something that stuck with me. It was a very simple play and rep, but it was very impressive to me. It was the first time we really seen him being able to turn the Jets on. And then alongside him, LaQuint Allen, I thought, had a really impressive practice. Trevor Lawrence noted how impressive he's been as a pass protector and a pass receiver out of the backfield. Obviously, being, on this specific Jaguars roster, having the ability to pass pro could easily land Allen a game day role. And he showed some good things, I believe, on Thursday. He had one catch against Dewey Wingard. It was a 3rd down and 7-on-7. And he got a little bit of separation from Dewey. Probably about a yard or so. But once he caught the ball and turned upfield, he left everybody behind him. Very good quickness, very natural hands. I'd say probably the best pass catcher in their room right now. I know he hasn't played a game, but he is just phenomenal in the passing game. Other things, I noted out there, Eli Penkel. I know we've talked about him over and over, really ad nauseum. But it's for a reason. He made, in my opinion, the best play of the day. He contorted his body, came down with a contested catch on the sideline, and kept both feet in bounds. He's been really impressive. He looks like a physical player, looks like a fiery competitor, has speed. I haven't seen him drop many passes. He's come down with some tough catches, so it looks like he has good ball skills, good instincts. He's definitely a guy to watch. Joshua Cephas, I think, is another guy to watch. Had a really nice play in 7-on-7 on a catch from Nick Mullins. He's even, in my opinion, you've seen his pivotal reps kind of increase where you're seeing him in there with, the big names a little bit more and more. So Cephas is definitely a guy I think, moving forward to watch in the wide receiver room alongside Penkel. Cam Little, once again, went 5 for 5, didn't miss a field goal. I think they have maybe the best special teams trio in the NFL. I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about any long snappers not named Ross Matisik. But I'd venture to say it's hard to imagine many long snappers make more of an impact than Ross Matisik. It's very clearly a core piece of the team. And, I will have episodes moving on these next couple of days, winners, losers, that kind of thing from OTAs. My biggest takeaways from OTAs and minicamp, the whole shebang. But that is what I saw at the Miller Electric Center on Thursday as the Jaguars wrapped up minicamp and their offseason program. Thank you guys for listening. Please remember to go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other platforms. Please give us a like, follow, review, subscription, whatever you got to do at the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. You can also find our YouTube channel at Sports Videos on SI.